Hello there, and welcome to Sleep Doc, where quiet curiosity meets the deep end of science and wonder is allowed to take its time. Tonight we're going to drift toward the darkest, most absolute places in the known universe, to the edges of reality where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. We're talking about black holes, those silent, invisible monsters that haunt the space between stars. But what if we've been telling their story all wrong? What if their silence isn't the silence of an ending but of a passage? What if they are not the universe's graves but its gateways? Before we start wandering through that thought, I'd love to know where you're listening from this evening. Maybe you're in a city where the sky's too bright to see the stars, or maybe you're somewhere the Milky Way still stretches across the night like a faint silver cloud. Wherever you are, know that at this very moment, we are both held by the same gentle gravity under the same vast, quiet sky, sharing this small curiosity about what lies beyond it. If you find this gentle journey into the unknown a peaceful way to unwind, it would mean a lot if you gave this video a like or subscribed. It helps this little corner of calm reach others who might need a moment of wonder before they drift off. So, settle in, let your thoughts stretch out into the darkness, and imagine with me. Imagine that the most destructive force in the cosmos is actually an invitation, a doorway hidden in the fabric of space-time waiting for something, or someone, brave enough to cross the threshold. We're going to journey to that threshold together, not with fear, but with the quiet possibility that the end of one story is just the beginning of another. For most of our scientific history, the story of a black hole has been a one-way narrative, a story of an ending. It begins with a star, massive and brilliant, living for millions of years in a state of perfect balance, its immense gravity pulling inward, its nuclear furnace pushing outward. But all stars eventually run out of fuel. For the most massive ones, the end is not a gentle fade, but a catastrophic collapse. The outward pressure of fusion stops, and in an instant gravity wins completely. The star's core implodes under its own weight, crushing matter into a space so infinitely small, so impossibly dense, that our understanding of physics breaks down. This point is called the singularity. And around it, a boundary forms, a line of no return known as the event horizon. Anything that crosses this line, a planet, a cloud of gas, a beam of light, is pulled inward, its story absorbed into the silence. It is, in every sense of the word, a cosmic grave, a place where things cease to be visible, cease to exist in our universe. This is the black hole we know, the one of physics textbooks and documentaries. It is a predator of light, a place where time and space are warped into a final, inescapable point. When we look toward the centre of our own galaxy, we see stars orbiting something invisible, something with the mass of 4 million suns. That is Sagittarius A, our galaxy's central black hole. It is the quiet, dark heart around which everything we know revolves. Its presence is felt not through light, but through its absence, and through the steady, predictable dance of the stars that are caught in its gravitational embrace. They orbit it like moths around a flame they can never touch. The very idea of a black hole feels like a violation of common sense. How can something be made of nothing and everything at the same time? How can a place have such powerful gravity that it swallows light itself? The answer lies in how gravity works. It's not a force that pulls, but a curvature in the fabric of space-time itself. Imagine a flat sheet of rubber. A bowling ball placed in the centre will create a deep well. A marble rolling nearby will be drawn into that well, circling faster and faster as it gets closer. A black hole is like that, but the well is infinitely deep. The fabric of space-time is stretched to its breaking point. Light, which always travels in a straight line, follows that curve and spirals inward, lost forever. The event horizon is the edge of that well, the point where the slope becomes so steep that no amount of speed could ever allow for escape. It's not a physical surface you could touch. It is a boundary of pure geometry, a threshold in space-time. If you were to watch someone fall into a black hole from a safe distance, you would see something strange. As they approached the event horizon, their light would stretch, growing redder and dimmer. Their movements would appear to slow down until, at the very edge, they would seem to freeze in time, their image fading over an eternity until it vanished completely. From their perspective, however, time would continue as normal. They would cross the event horizon without even noticing the exact moment, only to find themselves in a place where all paths lead in one direction, toward the singularity. The journey from the event horizon to the centre is thought to be swift and final. The same forces that bend space-time would stretch anything that falls in, pulling it apart in a process sometimes called spaghettification. It is a complete and total disassembly. The matter that once made up a star or a planet is broken down into its fundamental components and added to the mass of the black hole. Its information, its history, its structure, all of it seemingly erased from the universe. This is the image of the black hole as a grave, an information destroyer, a final full stop at the end of a cosmic sentence. And for a long time, this was the only story science could tell. It was a story that felt complete, if terrifying. But physics, like the universe itself, dislikes absolute endings. The laws of quantum mechanics, which govern the very small, have a fundamental rule. Information can never be truly destroyed. It can be scrambled, hidden, or rearranged, but it can't be erased. And so a conflict was born, a paradox that has puzzled scientists for decades. What happens to the information that falls into a black hole? If it is destroyed at the singularity, then one of the pillars of modern physics is wrong. But if it isn't destroyed, where does it go? This question, the information paradox, is what quietly opened the door to a different story. It suggested that the singularity might not be an ending after all. Perhaps it's something else entirely, something we haven't yet learned to see. Perhaps the grave is not a grave. What if the singularity, that point of infinite density at the heart of a black hole, is not an endpoint? What if it's a bridge? This is where the story shifts from the known to the imagined, from the observed to the deeply theoretical. The idea that a black hole could be a gateway is not new. It has its roots in the mathematics of Einstein's theory of general relativity itself. The same equations that describe the collapse of a star into a singularity also allow for another possibility, that the singularity could connect to another point in space-time. This connection is often called an Einstein-Rosen bridge, or more famously, a wormhole. In this model, the black hole isn't a dead end. It is an entrance. The matter and energy that fall across the event horizon are not crushed out of existence. Instead, they are funneled through a narrow throat in space-time and emerge somewhere else entirely. Where that somewhere else might be is the subject of endless speculation. It could be another point in our own universe, a cosmic shortcut connecting distant galaxies in an instant. It could be another universe altogether, a parallel reality with its own stars, its own physical laws, its own history. Or it could be a connection through time, a gateway to the past or the future. The mathematics allows for all of these possibilities, though it doesn't tell us which, if any, are real. The image of a wormhole is difficult to grasp because we're used to thinking of space as a three-dimensional container, but in reality space is flexible. It can be bent, stretched, and even torn. A wormhole is a tunnel through that fabric. Imagine a piece of paper with two dots on opposite ends. The shortest distance between them is a straight line, but if you fold the paper so the dots touch, the distance becomes zero. A wormhole is like that fold, a wrinkle in the geometry of the universe that brings two distant places into contact. The entrance to this tunnel would be the black hole, its immense gravity creating the fold. The exit, if one exists, is a theoretical object known as a white hole. A white hole is the mathematical opposite of a black hole. While nothing can escape a black hole, nothing can enter a white hole. It is a place where matter and energy can only flow outward. It would be a source of light and creation, a cosmic spring pouring the contents of the black hole back into a new region of space-time. For a long time, this idea was treated as a mathematical curiosity, a strange solution to an equation that probably didn't exist in the real world. Early models suggested that any wormhole would be incredibly unstable, collapsing the moment anything tried to pass through it. But more recent theories, incorporating ideas from quantum mechanics and string theory, have suggested that some wormholes might be stabilized. They might be held open by exotic forms of matter or energy, creating a traversable passage. This is still deep in the realm of theory, but it opens the door to a profound reimagining of the cosmos. It suggests that the universe may be far more interconnected than it appears. The vast distances between stars might not be barriers, but illusions. The universe might be filled with hidden pathways, a secret network of gateways disguised as points of no return. In this view, black holes are not destroyers. They are recyclers. They take the matter of a dying star in one part of the universe and use it to seed creation in another. They are the engines of cosmic rebirth, ensuring that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. The story of information falling into a black hole changes completely. It isn't erased, it is transmitted. The history of a star, the structure of a planet, the light from a distant galaxy, all of it passes through the gateway, preserved and delivered to a new beginning. The black hole becomes a cosmic messenger, carrying the memory of one universe into the next. This would resolve the information paradox in the most elegant way possible. Information isn't destroyed because the singularity is not a wall, but a door. Thinking of black holes this way changes their emotional weight. They are no longer terrifying voids, but places of profound mystery and potential. They are not the end of physics, but the place where our understanding of physics is just beginning. They represent the edge of our knowledge, a place where gravity and quantum mechanics must finally meet and reconcile. The story they tell is no longer about endings, but about continuity. It suggests that the universe has a deeper logic of preservation, that it doesn't discard its own history. Every particle, every wave of light, every story is part of a cycle that flows through these hidden channels. The silence of a black hole in this light is not the silence of death, but the quiet of a threshold, the pause between one room and the next. It is the deep, patient silence of something waiting to be crossed. Imagine yourself in a ship designed for the impossible, drifting in the quiet of interstellar space. Before you, there is nothing to see, just a patch of darkness where the stars seem to have been erased, but you can feel it. A gentle, persistent pull, a current in the river of space-time. As you move closer, the light from the stars behind you begins to bend, their images distorted as if seen through ancient glass. They stretch into thin, coloured arcs, wrapping around the darkness ahead. This is the first sign that you're approaching the threshold. The event horizon is still far away, but its influence is already rewriting the geometry of the space around you. There is no sound here. The silence is absolute, deeper than any you have ever known. It is the silence of a place that consumes even whispers. Your ship moves forward, not with engines, but by yielding to the current. The pull grows stronger, but it is not a violent force. It is a smooth, even acceleration, a steady surrender to the inevitable. The starbows behind you grow brighter, their light compressed into a brilliant halo of blues and violets. In front of you, the darkness remains perfect, a circle of pure void against the shimmering backdrop of the cosmos. The journey is slow. Time itself is beginning to change. For an observer far away, your ship would appear to be slowing down, its light shifting toward red. But for you, time feels normal. It is the universe outside that seems to be speeding up. The distorted stars behind you race through their life cycles. Galaxies spin in a blur. The entire history of the cosmos flashes past in what feels like moments. You're falling out of time as you know it, entering a place where the distinction between past, present, and future dissolves. The event horizon is now close. It is not a wall of fire or a swirling vortex. It is an invisible line, a subtle shift in the fabric of reality. You feel no bump, no transition, only a sudden change in the nature of your journey. Before, you could have turned back. Now, you cannot. All paths, all possibilities, now lead in one direction. You're inside. The universe you left behind is now just a memory, a bright circle of light in what has become your sky. Looking forward into the heart of the black hole, you see nothing. Or rather, you see the absence of everything. But the darkness is not empty. It feels full, heavy with the weight of everything that has ever fallen here. The silence is different now too. It is not just the absence of sound, but the presence of something ancient and waiting. The pull toward the centre is immense, but the journey, if this were a gateway, would not be one of destruction. Instead of being torn apart, your ship and your body are compressed, squeezed through the narrow throat of the wormhole. The laws of physics as you know them no longer apply. Dimensions fold in on themselves. Space becomes fluid. Time ceases to have meaning. It is not a physical experience, but a transformation. You're being unwritten and rewritten at the same time. The very atoms of your being are stretched into threads of information, flowing through the tunnel like a river of light. There is no pain, no fear, only a sense of release, of becoming part of something infinitely larger than yourself. The journey through the gateway might last an eternity or an instant. In this place, they are the same thing. You are pure potential, a wave of information travelling through a wrinkle in the cosmos. You carry with you the memory of your universe, of its stars, its warmth, its silence, and then, just as suddenly as it began, the transformation ends. The darkness gives way to light. Not the distorted light of your past, but something new, something brilliant and unfiltered. You emerge from the other side, from the white hole, into a new space-time. Before you is a universe you have never seen. Perhaps the stars are different colours. Perhaps the constellations form unfamiliar patterns. Perhaps the physical laws themselves are subtly changed. You have been reborn. Your atoms reassemble. Your consciousness returns, carrying the faint echo of the passage. You're a traveller between worlds, a messenger from a universe that is now, to you, unimaginably ancient. Looking back, you would not see the dark entrance of the black hole. You would see a brilliant, searing point of light, the white hole, from which new matter and energy are continuously born. It is a fountain of creation, the source of a new beginning. The silence of the journey is replaced by the hum of a new cosmos, the faint whisper of galaxies forming, of stars igniting, of possibilities unfolding. The journey through the gateway is not one of travel, but of becoming. It is a process that dissolves the boundary between observer and observed, between matter and information. To pass through a black hole in this story is to be recycled by the universe, to have your story woven back into the fabric of creation. It is the ultimate act of continuity, a promise that nothing ever truly ends, but only changes its form, its place, its time. And as you float in this new, unfamiliar sky, you realize that the universe is not a collection of separate places, but a single, interconnected whole, constantly flowing, constantly remaking itself through these hidden, silent passages. The black hole was not a grave, it was a womb. What lies on the other side? If a black hole is a gateway, what is the destination? This question pushes us beyond the limits of physics and into the realm of pure imagination, guided by the faint whispers of mathematics. The simplest possibility is that the gateway leads to another point in our own universe. A wormhole could act as a cosmic shortcut, connecting two regions of space-time that are, from the outside, separated by billions of light-years. If you entered a black hole in the Andromeda Galaxy, you might emerge instantaneously from a white hole near the edge of our own Milky Way. Such a network of gateways would change our understanding of the universe's structure. It would no longer be a vast, mostly empty space, but a landscape filled with hidden connections, a cosmic subway system for those who knew how to find the entrances. Civilizations, if they exist elsewhere, might have learned to navigate this network, travelling between galaxies as easily as we cross oceans. The universe would become a much smaller, more intimate place. But the theory also allows for something far stranger. The gateway could lead to another universe entirely. Not just a different place, but a different reality. This is the concept of the multiverse, the idea that our universe is just one of many, each existing in its own bubble of space-time, each with its own set of physical laws. In this model, black holes are the seeds of new universes. When a massive star collapses in our universe, the singularity it creates could expand into a new daughter universe on the other side. This process, sometimes called cosmic natural selection, suggests that universes themselves might evolve. Universes that produce many black holes would create many offspring. If the physical laws of those offspring are slightly different, then over countless generations, universes with laws that favour black hole formation would become the most common. Our universe, with its precise balance of forces that allows for massive stars to form and collapse, might be the product of this long evolutionary chain. We live in a universe that is good at making black holes because it was born from one. If you were to pass through such a gateway, the world you would enter could be unimaginably different. The speed of light might be slower, gravity might be weaker, the fundamental particles that make up matter could be entirely new. It might be a universe where life as we know it is impossible, or one where life has taken forms we could never conceive. The white hole from which you emerged would be the big bang of that new universe, the moment of its creation, pouring the matter and energy from its parent into a new existence. The end of a star in one universe becomes the beginning of everything in another. This idea is staggering in its scale. It suggests that creation is not a singular event that happened once, long ago, but a continuous process happening right now inside every black hole. The cosmos is constantly giving birth to itself, recycling its own substance into new realities. And there's another, perhaps even more mind-bending possibility. The gateway might not lead across space, but through time. The same equations that describe wormholes in space also allow for paths that loop back into the past or forward into the future. A black hole could be a time machine. If you entered one, you might emerge in the same location, but millions of years before you left, or long after your own civilization has turned to dust. This possibility is fraught with paradoxes. What happens if you go back and change the past? Can you prevent your own birth? Most physicists believe that some unknown law of nature must prevent such paradoxes, that the universe must have a way of protecting its own history. But the mathematics remains tantalizing. It whispers that the linear flow of time we experience might just be an illusion, a local current in a much larger, more complex ocean where past, present and future are all connected. In this vision, a black hole is not just a gateway to other places, but to other moments. It is a point where the story of the universe folds back on itself, where beginnings and endings can meet. The silence at the heart of a black hole would be the silence of all moments at once, the quiet hum of eternity. Whichever of these destinations is the true one, another place, another universe, or another time, the implication is the same. A black hole is not an end. It is a transition. It is the mechanism by which the universe ensures its own continuity. The matter that falls in is not lost. The energy is not destroyed. The information is not erased. It is all passed on, recycled into a new context. This changes how we see the cosmos. It is no longer a place of isolated stars and galaxies separated by insurmountable voids. It is a living, breathing system connected by hidden arteries and veins. The black holes are its heart, pumping the substance of reality through cycles of death and rebirth. And in this constant flow, nothing is truly static, and no ending is ever final. The universe, it seems, does not believe in graves. It believes only in gateways. The idea that information can be lost forever in a black hole has been a thorn in the side of physics for half a century. It's known as the black hole information paradox, and it arises from a fundamental clash between two of our most successful theories. On one hand, Einstein's theory of general relativity describes a black hole as a simple object, defined only by its mass, its spin, and its charge. Any other information about what fell in, whether it was a star, a planet, or a library of books, is seemingly wiped clean at the singularity. On the other hand, quantum mechanics insist that information, the fundamental blueprint of what makes something what it is, can never be destroyed. It can be scrambled or rearranged, but the universe must always, in principle, keep a record. So where does the information go? For decades, this question led to intense debate. Some scientists argue that perhaps the laws of quantum mechanics simply break down inside a black hole. But in the 1970s, Stephen Hawking introduced a new twist. He showed that black holes are not entirely black. Due to quantum effects near the event horizon, they should slowly radiate energy away, a process now known as Hawking radiation. This means that over immense periods of time, a black hole will evaporate, shrinking until it disappears completely. But this created an even bigger problem. The radiation that escapes seems to be random, carrying no information about what fell in. So when the black hole is gone, the information is gone with it. A clear violation of quantum law. This is the heart of the paradox. But what if the information isn't lost at all? What if it's encoded, hidden in a way we don't yet understand? This is where the idea of a gateway offers a beautiful solution. If a black hole is a wormhole, then the information that falls in doesn't need to be stored or radiated away. It simply passes through to the other side. The story isn't erased, it's just moved to a different volume. The information about the star that collapsed, the planets it consumed, the light it trapped, all of it emerges from a white hole in another universe or another time. The universe's memory remains intact. It's just stored in a library we can't access. More recent theories have proposed other, equally wondrous solutions. One is the holographic principle. This idea suggests that all the information about a three-dimensional volume of space, like the inside of a black hole, can be encoded on its two-dimensional boundary, the event horizon. Imagine a hologram, where a flat surface contains all the data needed to project a 3D image. In the same way, the event horizon could act as a cosmic hard drive, storing a holographic record of everything that has ever fallen in. As the black hole evaporates, that information would be subtly imprinted onto the outgoing Hawking radiation. The radiation wouldn't be random after all. It would be a highly scrambled, incredibly complex message, carrying the story of the black hole's contents back out into the universe. If we could decode it, we could reconstruct a complete history of what was lost. The black hole would not be a grave, but an archive, one that broadcasts its contents slowly over eons. Another related idea is that of quantum entanglement. This is the strange connection that can exist between particles, where the state of one is instantly linked to the state of another, no matter how far apart they are. Some physicists now believe that the particles of Hawking radiation are entangled with the interior of the black hole. As the black hole shrinks, the information inside is transferred to its entangled partners outside. The information doesn't need to travel through space in the traditional sense. It is teleported, its story preserved through this invisible quantum thread. In this view, a black hole acts like a quantum computer, processing information and releasing it in a new entangled form. It's not a simple gateway, but a complex transformer. It takes the familiar language of our universe and translates it into the deeper, more subtle language of quantum mechanics. What all these theories have in common is a growing conviction that information is fundamental to the universe, perhaps even more fundamental than space and time. The universe, it seems, is a storyteller. It insists on preserving its own narrative. It refuses to let any chapter be completely torn out. Black holes, once seen as the ultimate editors, are now being recast as the universe's most dedicated librarians. Whether they are gateways to other worlds, holographic projectors, or quantum teleporters, they are all, in their own way, guardians of memory. They remind us that what disappears from sight is not necessarily gone. It may just be in a form we don't yet have the eyes to see. The silence of a black hole, then, is the silence of a library after closing time. The stories are all still there, resting on the shelves, waiting for the doors to open again. The paradox that once threatened to break physics has instead pushed it toward a deeper, more unified understanding of reality. It has forced us to accept that the universe is stranger and more interconnected than we ever imagined, and it has transformed the black hole from a symbol of ultimate loss into a symbol of ultimate preservation. The grave has become a sanctuary. Imagine a civilization far more ancient and advanced than our own, a society that has not just explored its own star system, but has learned to read the deeper grammar of the cosmos. To them, the universe might not look like a collection of distant, isolated lights, but like a connected landscape, a geography of energy and space-time. And in this landscape, black holes would not be hazards to be avoided. They would be destinations. They would be the crossroads, the harbours, the great junction points of the cosmic network. If a civilization could learn to navigate these gateways, the scale of their existence would be beyond our comprehension. They would not be bound by the speed of light, the ultimate speed limit of our universe. They could cross galaxies in an instant, moving through the hidden tunnels of space-time. They could witness the birth and death of stars not as distant spectacles, but as local events. Their history would not be written on a single planet, but across countless worlds in multiple universes. They would be a civilization of travellers, of explorers, of gardeners who seed life and knowledge across different realities. Their science and philosophy would be profoundly different from ours. We see the universe as something to be observed from the outside. They would see it as something to be participated in from within. Their understanding of reality would be built on the principle of connection, not separation. They might not even perceive time as a linear flow. If they could travel to the past or the future, their sense of cause and effect, of beginning and end, would dissolve into a more holistic understanding of existence. They would see all of history as a single, accessible moment. What would such a civilization build? What kind of technology would they possess? Perhaps their greatest achievements would not be physical structures, but living systems. They might learn to engineer space-time itself, to create stable wormholes, to design and build their own gateways. They might create entire universes as works of art or as sanctuaries for evolving life. Their technology would be indistinguishable from nature because it would be woven into the fabric of reality itself. We search for signs of alien life by looking for radio signals or artificial structures. But a civilization that uses black holes as gateways would have no need for such things. Their communication would not travel across space but through it. Their monuments would not be built of stone or metal but of gravity and time. We might be living inside one of their creations right now and not even know it. This idea recast the Fermi paradox, the question of, if the universe is so full of life, where is everybody? Perhaps they are not absent. Perhaps they are simply invisible to us, operating on a level of reality we don't yet have the senses to perceive. They are not in the space between stars, they are in the connections between them. They are the silent navigators of the cosmic web. If such beings exist, they would likely be guardians of the balance. They would understand that the universe is a delicate system, that the creation of gateways, the birth of new universes, has consequences. They might act as cosmic stewards, ensuring that the flow of information and energy remains stable, that no single reality overwhelms the others. They would be the quiet, unseen intelligence that keeps the multiverse in harmony. Their philosophy might be one of profound empathy, born from the experience of countless different realities. They would have seen life in all its possible forms, consciousness in all its expressions. They would understand that every star, every planet, every living thing is part of a single, interconnected story, and from this perspective their relationship with a young, noisy civilization like ours might be one of gentle patience. They would not interfere, not because they are indifferent, but because they respect the process of discovery. They would know that every culture must find its own way to the gateways, that the journey is as important as the destination. They would watch us from a distance, perhaps leaving subtle clues in the laws of physics, in the structure of the cosmos itself, hints that the universe is more than it seems. The very existence of black holes, the puzzles they present, the way they push our science to its limits, might be one of those clues. They are an invitation to think bigger, to look deeper, to question our most basic assumptions about reality. They are the first lesson from a curriculum we have only just begun to read. And so, the silence of space might not be emptiness. It might be the quiet focus of a civilization so vast and so advanced that its presence is woven into the very silence itself. They are not out there among the stars. They are in the darkness between them, in the passages that connect everything, waiting for us to learn how to see not just the lights, but the pathways they illuminate. How does this idea, this gentle reimagining of the cosmos, change the way we feel when we look up at the night sky? It transforms the darkness from something empty and cold into something full of hidden potential. The space between stars is no longer a void, but a canvas of unseen connections. Every point of light, every distant galaxy, is not just an isolated island, but a possible destination, a stop on a cosmic railway we're only just beginning to imagine. It brings a sense of comfort to the vastness. The universe can feel lonely, its scale so immense that our own existence seems impossibly small and fragile. But if black holes are gateways, if the cosmos is a network of interconnected realities, then nothing is truly isolated. We are part of a larger ongoing story, a cycle of creation and renewal that stretches across countless worlds and times. Our brief existence on this small blue planet is a meaningful chapter in a much grander narrative. It also changes our perspective on endings. We fear death, decay, and dissolution. We build monuments to resist the passage of time. We tell stories to preserve our memory, but the gateway suggests that endings are an illusion. What we perceive as destruction is merely transformation. The star that dies in a supernova does not vanish. Its matter is scattered to form new stars and planets. The information that falls into a black hole is not erased. It is passed on. In this universe, nothing is ever truly lost. This thought can be profoundly calming. It means that the universe has a deep underlying principle of conservation. It holds on to its own history with a tenacity that defies even the most powerful forces. It remembers everything. The light from a star that died 1 billion years ago is still travelling through space, still carrying the story of its existence. The atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of stars that have long since faded. You're a walking, breathing archive of cosmic history. This idea connects us not just to the future, but to the deepest past. It suggests that we are inheritors of a legacy that began long before our sun, long before our galaxy. We are the current expression of a story that has been unfolding since the beginning of time, and when our time is over, the story will not end. It will simply be passed on through the gateways, our information, our experiences, our very atoms recycled into new beginnings. This perspective also instills a sense of profound humility. We are not the pinnacle of creation, but a small part of a much larger, more complex process. If other civilizations exist, if they have learned to navigate the gateways, then we are like children just learning to walk, standing on the shore of an ocean we have not yet learned to cross. There is so much we do not know, so much that may lie forever beyond our grasp. And that is not a cause for despair, but for wonder. The universe is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. And finally, thinking of black holes as gateways brings a sense of hope to our own future. We are a species that looks to the stars, that dreams of travel and exploration. The vast distances of space often seem like an insurmountable barrier. But if gateways exist, if there are shortcuts through the fabric of reality, then the future of humanity might be far grander than we can imagine. Perhaps one day we will learn to build our own gateways, or to navigate the ones that nature has provided. Perhaps we will join the silent travellers of the cosmos, becoming part of the great conversation between worlds. That future may be millions of years away, but the possibility itself changes how we see ourselves today. It gives us a sense of purpose, a direction, a reason to keep looking up, to keep asking questions, to keep dreaming. So the next time you look at the night sky and you feel that familiar sense of smallness and awe, remember the gateways. Remember that the darkness is not empty, that the silence is not final, and that you are part of a story that is far older, far larger, and far more hopeful than you can ever truly know. The universe is not a graveyard. It is a garden, and its seeds are scattered on the winds of space-time, always searching for new ground in which to grow. If a black hole is the entrance, a gateway of consumption, then its theoretical opposite, the white hole, is the exit, a gateway of creation. The idea of a white hole emerges directly from the same mathematics of general relativity that predicts black holes. It is in essence a black hole running in reverse. While a black hole's gravity is so strong that nothing can escape, a white hole's gravitational properties would be such that nothing could enter. It is a region of space-time from which matter and energy can only flow outward. You could never visit a white hole because you could never reach its event horizon. Any object approaching it would be repelled by the ceaseless torrent of energy emerging from it. From a distance, a white hole would look like a brilliant eternal fountain of light and matter, a spontaneous and continuous creation event. It would be a place where the universe is constantly giving birth to itself. For a long time, white holes were dismissed as purely mathematical constructs with no physical reality. Unlike black holes, for which we have abundant observational evidence, we have never seen anything that looks like a white hole. They also seem to violate the second law of thermodynamics, which states that entropy, or disorder, in a closed system must always increase. A white hole, by spontaneously creating organised matter, would seem to be a source of decreasing entropy. However, if we think of a white hole not as an isolated object, but as the other end of a wormhole connected to a black hole, these problems begin to resolve. The matter and energy pouring out of the white hole are not being created from nothing. They are the matter and energy that fell into the black hole. The white hole is simply the exhaust pipe, the exit of the gateway. The entropy of the combined black hole-white hole system would still increase, satisfying the laws of physics. In this model, the two gateways are two sides of the same coin, one taking in, the other giving out, maintaining a cosmic balance. Imagine what it would be like to witness a white hole. It would not be a violent explosion like a supernova, but a steady, luminous outpouring. New particles, new light, new elements would emerge from its centre, expanding outward to form clouds of gas and dust. Over time, these clouds could condense to form new stars, new planets, new solar systems. A white hole would be a cosmic nursery, a place where the raw materials for a new generation of the universe are provided. The matter emerging from a white hole would carry the information from its parent black hole. It would be the recycled history of another place and time, The elements forged in the core of a star that died in one universe could become the building blocks of life in another. The light from a galaxy that was swallowed by a black hole could be reborn to illuminate a new sky. This is the universe's ultimate form of recycling, a process that ensures that the story of the cosmos is never lost, but is constantly being retold in new and different ways. Some physicists have even speculated that the Big Bang itself might have been a white hole, the singular event that marked the emergence of our universe from a parent universe through a black hole gateway. In this view, our entire cosmos is the product of a star's death in another reality. We're all made of the stuff that came through that first gateway. This idea, known as the cosmological bounce, suggests that universes may go through cycles of collapse and rebirth. A universe might expand, then collapse back into a singularity, a massive black hole containing all of its matter and energy, which then re-emerges as a white hole, creating a new Big Bang and a new universe. The story of creation is not a straight line, but a circle. And so, the white hole completes the journey. It is the light at the end of the tunnel, the dawn that follows the long darkness of the passage. It is the universe's promise that for every ending there is a new beginning. It transforms the black hole from a place of fear into a place of hope. It tells us that the universe is not a system that is slowly winding down, heading toward an inevitable heat death. Instead, it is a system that is constantly renewing itself, using its darkest, most destructive objects as the seeds for its brightest, most creative moments. The grave has not just become a gateway, the gateway has become a garden, and from its light new worlds are born, new stories begin, and the quiet, patient cycle of the cosmos continues. Here we are at the end of our journey, floating in the quiet space between a question and its echo. We began in darkness, with the image of a black hole as a cosmic grave, a place of absolute endings. And slowly, gently, we have travelled toward the light, toward the possibility that these dark hearts of the universe are not endings at all, but thresholds. The journey has taken us through warped space-time, past the edge of the event horizon and into the realm of pure potential, where physics and imagination meet. We have imagined a cosmos connected by hidden pathways, a universe that remembers everything, that recycles its own stories into new beginnings. We have replaced the fear of the void with the wonder of the gateway, and now we are left with the silence. Not the empty silence of a grave, but the rich, full silence of a mystery that is still unfolding. We do not know if black holes are truly gateways. We may never know. The evidence may lie forever beyond our reach, on the other side of a threshold we can never cross. But the question itself has changed us. It has stretched our sense of what is possible. It has deepened our connection to the cosmos. It has reminded us that the universe is not just a collection of facts to be learned, but a story to be experienced. And in that story we are not merely observers, we are participants. Our curiosity, our wonder, our ability to imagine are the tools we use to explore the map of reality. Every question we ask is a step on a journey that began long before us, and will continue long after we are gone. When you look up at the night sky now, perhaps it will feel different. The darkness between the stars will no longer seem empty. It will feel like a space of hidden connections, of quiet potential. The silence will not feel like an absence, but like a presence. The calm and steady breathing of a universe that is far more alive and interconnected than we can ever fully grasp. The idea of the gateway is a comforting thought to hold as you drift towards sleep. It is a reminder that even in the darkest places there is the possibility of light, that no ending is truly final, that every story in some form continues. The universe does not forget. It simply finds new ways to tell its tales. So rest now. Let the gentle gravity of your own world hold you. Let the quiet of the night be your event horizon, a soft threshold between the world of knowing and the world of dreaming. And as you cross it, perhaps you will find your own gateway, a passage to a place where all questions are answered, not with words but with peace. Sleep well, cosmic traveller. The universe will be here when you wake,